Hey everyone, how are you all doing? After all the festivities, gatherings, and ladies' catch up, I've been eating so much junk food and not been able to gather all the proteins with good food. Honestly, my body is craving to eat healthy diet, healthy food that I can digest easily, and my body will feel all very happy from inside as well. So today I'm planning to make a protein thali, a protein-rich thali, not just with one or two recipes, but a wholesome thali that can fill you up completely with goodness. Simple recipes, simple ingredients that you will need to make this protein-rich thali. I'm making the dough ready first with chapati ka atta, 1 small cup measurement of wheat flour, pinch of salt, a teaspoon of desi ghee, and water to knead the dough. As it is a thali, everything can be made in small portions, which will be plenty and sufficient. The dough is made just to the right consistency that we normally make if we had to roll the dough with our hands. I cover it up to rest for an hour. Also, if you notice, I have all kinds of grains, dals that I am using for today's cooking. I've washed and soaked it in water for 8 hours time overnight. First, I pressure cook these lentils. You can use any kind of lentils that you wish to. I'm using black-eyed beans, which are high in protein. Pressure cooking it for 1 whistle. And parallelly, I've also got 1 cup of quinoa that I have washed, adding in 2.5 cups of water, setting it to boil. I'm making a raita with chia seeds, a teaspoon of chia seeds, 2 tablespoons of Greek style yogurt, a teaspoon of cumin powder, adding in water and letting the chia seeds to fluff up with time. Chia seeds and Greek style yogurt are high in protein. I'm making a tarka now using sesame oil, tilka tel, yellenne. Sesame oil is high and a very easy way to incorporate proteins in your diet. With a teaspoon of mustard seeds, handful of peanuts. We'll let them turn crunchy first and then add in a teaspoon of urad dal, curry leaves. I sprinkle in Kashmiri red chili powder on top. Quinoa is now completely cooked. The water has nicely been absorbed, so now I turn off the flame. I'm making a masala using a teaspoon of sesame oil, a teaspoon of cumin seeds, 1 medium-sized onion that is finely chopped. I saute it first and then add in a teaspoon of freshly crushed garlic and ginger. We wait for it to turn aromatic until the raw smell goes. And then to this I add in 1 medium-sized tomato. We let it soften and then add in a cup of edamame beans. Edamame beans are really high, packed in protein. Once they become tender, adding in a teaspoon of cumin powder, a teaspoon of dhania powder, half a teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder, a teaspoon of garam masala, salt to taste. Combining it well and mixing it with cooked quinoa. Finishing it off by adding in finely chopped mint leaves. Sesame seeds and peanuts are very, very, very high in proteins. So what I do and what you can do is roast sesame seeds on a very low flame because they tend to get roasted very fast. So we do it on a low flame. Transferring it into the mixie jar and then continue using the pan to dry roast peanuts as well. Once they become super crunchy, change the color. That's when we know we can take it out from the flame and we allow it to cool down completely, in which way it becomes easier to take out the skin from the peanuts, and we grind it into a coarse powder by just whizzing. If you use the number setting, then the oil content in the sesame seeds and peanuts will make it super sticky, but we want it to be coarse powder, so we just whiz it a few times. And we have peanut powder and yellow pudi. Adding it into any of your recipes is a very easy way of getting proteins in your diet, and also the recipe will taste excellent with its taste. So I have it ready all the time in my kitchen cabinet. The pressure is released from the lentils, so I make a tarka with a teaspoon of yellenne, a teaspoon of mustard seeds, 1 onion that is cut lengthwise. I saute it first, adding in a teaspoon of garlic and ginger paste. One tomato. When it becomes soft, I add in cooked lentils, a teaspoon of ground sesame and peanut powder, a teaspoon of Kashmiri red chili powder, salt to taste. We let it come to a good boil. And parallelly, we set the pressure cooker with a cup of chana dal that was soaking in water overnight, with 2 medium-sized potatoes for 2 whistles. I also sprinkle in some salt. The pressure is released from the chana and the potatoes. I peel off the skin from the potatoes and immediately I soften it, mash it up, in which way it becomes easy to mash up the chana. If it cools down, it's difficult to mash up the chana completely. Now to make the stuffing ready, with sesame oil, 1 finely chopped onion, freshly crushed garlic. I saute it all and then add in handful of sabbaske soppu. I have finely chopped the leaves. I saute it until the leaves are completely cooked, which takes around 2 to 3 minutes. You can see the change in color of the leaves, which means it's cooked. Now I add in the mashed potatoes and chana. Add in salt to taste, a teaspoon of cumin powder, amchur powder and green chili paste. We give it a good mix. I finish it off by adding in a teaspoon of butter to this. We let the stuffing cool down completely to make parathas later. One last item that I set to do is, I had moong dal soaked in water overnight. I drained the water and grind it coarse along with salt and green chilies. I add in 1 small sized onion which is finely chopped, a good portion of sabbaske soppu. We give it a good mix first and then add in a pinch of cooking soda along with a teaspoon of rice flour. This can be deep fried, but to make it healthy, I scoop in a teaspoon of the mixture into the air frying tray to make pakodas in the air fryer with a drizzle of oil. I set it in the air fryer for 10 minutes time at 190 degrees temperature. With stuffing now cooled down completely, I make very small, tiny little balls to make parathas with them. I'm using my very favorite Roti Pressing machine, which is 9.5 by 9.5 inches. It's super cute, small in size, compact, very eco-friendly that you can use in your kitchen. And the best part is asking very little space, that you can easily keep it in your cabinets. I keep the butter sheets on both the sides and smear very little of oil to just start off. Not necessarily you have to apply oil every time, but just to begin with. I use a very small portion of the dough, keep it in the center and press it down just once to make a small disc. I press it down just once and it's so easy that anyone can make this. Once you have the stuffing and the dough ready, even husbands or men at home can use this roti pressing machine to make parathas. I keep the stuffing in the center and lift up the edges, seal it from all the sides and keep it in the center again. Cover it up with a butter sheet. Press it down gently. You do not have to apply a lot of pressure. Just a gentle pressure is plenty. We have small, cute, tiny little parathas, as we want it to be small in size with it being a thali. Even though there were a few chanas here and there left, you can see it's completely mushed up with the pressing. So it's nicely sealed as well. I place the sheet upside down on the tawa with the heat passing by. You can lift up the top sheet and apply oil, which is entirely optional. I smeared very little of oil on both the sides and now you can see it's beautiful golden color. Protein-rich potato and chickpea parathas. This roti pressing machine comes in very helpful and useful in kitchen, that I use it for all the pressing jobs in the kitchen. So I'm leaving a link for you all in the description box. You can also contact the seller, Aishwarya Fashions, Swapna Yellur, on this number that is displayed on screen now. Now that I have all the dishes ready, I warm up again just so that it's nice and tasty, and it's pretty cold here. So I prefer eating lunch which is nice and warm. So in today's protein-rich thali, we have chia seeds and Greek-style yogurt raita, lentils tarka dal, potato and chana paratha, moong dal pakodas, masala edamame quinoa, and pickle is such a must for me to complete the thali. Look how nicely these parathas are stuffed that you can enjoy it with raita or with the tarka dal without feeling guilty, making you feel all good and happy, and enjoy the thali as it's filled and high in protein. So enjoy this thali in every bite, making you and your body happy from inside as well. Thank you so much for watching this video in full. Take care everyone. See you all again soon in my next video. Bye for now.